To get started with connecting external applications to Sage X3 using web services, you'll need to do a couple of things in Sage X3 first. So you'll need to enable or create a new SOAP service pool. So log into your Sage X3 instance. You'll need to log in as an administrator. So log into that area and go to navigation, go to administration, and scroll further down, and you'll see an option here called Classic SOAP Pools Configuration. So you'll need to create a web service pool for your Sage X3 folder. So I'm going to create a pool to connect my external application to my seed folder up here. It doesn't matter which folder you're logged in at the moment. You'll be able to identify the folder when you're creating the pool. So I'm going to click on the pool. So as you can see, there's no pools right now in the system. I'll go to the action and click on new SOAP pool. So in here in the alias, just give it a name. So I'm going to just go with the folder name. You can choose any name that you would like. So tick the auto start button and then choose which folder or endpoint you'd like to connect to. So I'm going to choose seed and choose the user. I'm going to choose admin. So this is the user that will connect to this folder remotely. I'm going to start with an initialization size of 2 channels and then the maximum size of 4 channels, which will allow the system to increase the number of channels if the existing 2 channels are occupied. So I'm going to go with this default settings. You need to adjust this to your needs. I'm going to go and save this. Sorry, I need to choose a locale, so I'm going to choose United States and save. So once this is done, you'll need to start the pool. So I click on the action button again and start. So this creates the channels. If I go back to the web services and pools again, and if you click on this little arrow button, you'll see that the channels have already started. So there are 2 channels which have started, and they're listening for connections. So this is the first step. The second step is to find out what your WSDL directory address is. So go to administration, go to Classic SOAP Web Services function under administration, and you will see that the system has already created a WSDL endpoint for you. And you can click on this little gray link icon here and just do a single click here and it will open the WSDL file for you. So you need to copy this address from the address bar and put it in your external application and you'll be able to connect to X3 using WSDL. So in order to connect to X3's web services, you'll need to have some web services which are published, right? So I just click on back and go to the navigation and go to development, scroll further down to under scripts, there's web services. There are a couple of web services here which you can connect to X3. So there is a couple of predefined web services like BPs and sales and etc. And you can create your own web services as well. That's a different topic for a different video. But there are basically 2 main web services which I'm going to cover. So one is AWS export and AWS import. So these 2 web services allow you to use a normal import or export template in Sage X3 to do your imports and exports. So I'm going to publish the, say for example, the export web service. And this web service, if I go to Sage and go to setup and go to import export templates, so it basically connects me to my import export templates as I do the usual import and export in Sage X3. So I can connect to these templates and do my import and export of items into Sage X3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find the customer template. Say I'm going to export my customers, so I'm going to search in the description for customer. And this template is a CSV template. I can use this template, and the system will, when I call the external web service, it will give me a CSV file. I can also create a XML template out of this. So I'm going to just put an XMLBPC, and I'm going to put in an XML customers. So I'm going to change this file type from ASCII to XML. And if I scroll down, the XML file doesn't need these separators, so I'm going to delete them between my tables. I'm going to get rid of these separators, and I'm going to create this. Okay, so I have a template. I'm going to validate that. So you'll need now to have an external application which will be able to connect to X3 through a WSDL connection. So I'm going to use SOAP UI. So SOAP UI is the world's most popular API testing tool. I'm going to download the open source version of it, which is free. When SOAP UI is installed, you'll need to close any pop-up window that pops up when SOAP UI is opened. So just click on this new SOAP UI project, and in the project name, just give it a name. Say, for example, Sage X3 SOAP test. And in the initial WSDL, you'll need to paste the WSDL address that we have copied. Go to administration, go to classic SOAP web services, and again, click on this gray area. It will give you the address of the WSDL. So just Control-C on that, and just came in here and pasted that. Right, so just do that. So once you do this, it will automatically load all the methods under this web service. So for AWS export web service, we'll need to use the run method. Different web services have different methods. So for this web service, I'm going to use the run method. So I just expand the run branch, and under that, you will see a sample request. So just double click on that. You'll need to fill in a couple of stuff in there. So in the code lang, just type in eng. For pool alias, just put in the name of the pool alias that you created. I just created seed, so if you can't remember it, just go back to Sage X3 and go to administration, go to here and click on classic SOAP pools. So this is the pool alias I'm going to connect to. So just type that address, that name in. For the pool ID, you don't need to mention anything, so just get rid of this. And since we are not providing anything, we better just get the ending tag out and just put a / in at the end of that pool ID tag. So requestConfig, I'm just going to tell the system that I'm going to need an XML out of this. So I just need to paste what I will put in the video description for you. So just paste this command in there. I'm going to paste this one in here. So it basically is telling the system to return an XML and also to beautify the results. And in the public name, this is basically the name of the web service. So I'm going to just go AWS export. So this is the web service that I just published. And the input XML, I'll need to put in the parameters and give values to the parameters of the web service. So if I go back to the web service, you'll see that the web service, this web service requires some parameters. So if I go to development and go to web services here, I will see that it's AWS export is published, and these parameters are grouped as a group 1, group 2, and group 3. And they are, say, the parameters are in this web service are mode exp, chrono, criteria, execution type, and record separator. So this one, for example, is the import export template name, sequence number, which is the chronological, whether it's a yes or no, criteria, and the execution type, which is real-time or batch, and record separator, which is a character which is going to separate the records. So if I provide this to my web service like this, I'm just going to put this in there. Again, this you can find in the description in the video. So I'm going to say group 1, mode exp is XMLBPC, chrono, no, criteria is, I can say a customer name, so I can export only one customer. Or if you don't have any particular customer, you can just blank this section. So just make it something like this. I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to just specify one customer to export. And in the gRPC3, I'm going to say this is a real-time execution and also a record separator of a pipe, right? So it's going to put a pipe between my records. So if I go back to X3, I'm going to just test exporting one of the customers. So let's go to common data and go to customers. Let's say I want to export this customer called AU001 or bike ball, right? So I'm just going to copy this customer ID and go back to SOAP, and in here say FBPC, which is the BP customer table, BPCNUM equals to, so this is a stereotype import export template. So I'm just going to put in the parameter value under single quotes and the whole thing under double quotes, right? So, and I'm going to run this. So, and before we do this, if we have not done this before, you need to go to authentication tab of SOAP UI and go to, click on this button and click on add new authorization and click on basic and put in the Syracuse username and password for logging into your Sage X3. I'm going to type that again just to be sure. Right, so and always choose the authenticate preemptively. And now if I run this, right, it will return an XML. So let's click on that XML and scroll down. You will see that in the message it says one line has been exported. So it means one customer has been exported. Now, where is that one customer? It's definitely somewhere here, but it's nested inside the result.xml tag, right? So if you export this result.xml tag, you will, and if you, or you can just scroll to the right and you will see that it has actually exported that customer for you. So let's scroll to the right and you will see that this customer record is here, right? So it's definitely exported that. And all you need to do now is you need to take this out of the result programmatically, of course. But I'm just going to do this here just to show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to create a new request here. Let me call it results. And just Control A everything, delete everything here, and just paste everything here. So this is my result XML. And inside that, you see that there's an XML, right? So it's in brown color. So I just go to and select the entire thing, right? So I'm just gonna copy that as well and do a Control A here and delete everything and paste here. So you'll see that this XML, if I just right click on this and say format, you will see that it's an XML. And inside that XML, under all file, there is another XML, right? So this XML is the XML which actually has the file in it, right? So again, select it all. Whatever is inside the tag and is marked as in brown color, just select it all. And just Control A in there and paste that here, right? So again, right click on it and say format XML. If it doesn't work, remove this XML, first XML tag out of this and try again, right? So you will see that this is actually an XML. It has your customer in it. So it's got the BPC code, name, address. So it is your XML file of your customer outside of Sage X3. And you can now consume this in your XML applications. And as you can see, because I chose the pipe to be my record separator, it has put a pipe in between every single record of mine. I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.